Making sure, because you said something about it. And
yeah.
You had the stand in front of you, and you looked at the stand a little bit, so I'm just
It's instinct, my bad.
Huh?
Sorry, it's instinct.
Yeah, most people just rip the stand away, so, all right, good. Then well, let me just, the first thing that I wrote on the comment sheet, which wouldn't have applied to you if we hadn't been using the stand, but nonetheless, you do play with the music stand. Make sure that when you play with the music stand, you get your slide and your bell on the left side of the stand. Don't get it on the right side like you just were playing.
Oh, all right.
Okay? Because when you point a bell into the stand, it muffles the sound and it reflects the sound back in your face, and then you don't get an accurate, representation of what you really sound like. All right. So anyway, but that, like I said, that's just something for future. You did a pretty good job overall. The first measure is what this whole first movement is all about. The rhythm of the first measure. All right, and you did a really good, solid job of keeping the dotted eighths correctly played and not turning it into a triplet. Majority of the people play that rhythm as a triplet. And it's not. It's a dotted 8/16 note, which is totally different than a triplet. So you did a good job of noticing that. Professional orchestras use this piece all of the time for audition music, and they know within one measure whether they'll hire you or not, just by whether you play the rhythm right from the beginning. All right? So you might have gotten past the first round. All right, good. The one comment on the dotted rhythm is make sure that you always play the dotted eighth long. Sometimes you went da 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 dee da 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 da. There's no staccatos, there's no rests, there's nothing to tell you to play short. Alright, so keep the note long, and that helps the rhythm stay more accurate, anyway. Okay? But you did some really nice articulation effects here in this line. Alright, very light articulating, that's very good. You have a good range. The biggest problem for you today...
Was it the C arpeggio thing?
Well, besides that, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to harp on that one. That's just a very small part. But mainly, the biggest weakness was just playing in tune. Alright, you were letting notes that are naturally out of tune on the trombone be out of tune. For example, your first position F, second position E, third position E flat above the staff are all unnatural or are all naturally very sharp. And so we have to, we adjust the length of the slide easily, just by moving our fingertips. So we've got to use longer positions when you're playing above the staff. And of course, because this is in the key of E flat, that means you have an awful lot of E flats, to play. So an E flat typically is played really close to the bell. The edge of the brace of the slide is really close to the edge of the bell. So just reach lower and then listen very carefully, because you're a good player and there's no reason for playing, that badly out of tune. Other than just unawareness of it. Okay? But overall, the first movement went well. just two things on the little recitative. Make sure you hold that first note at its full value, because that's kind of like a fermato. Dee, that gets the listener's attention. Da dee da dee da dee da dee. All right, so you kind of just went right through it immediately into there, and then make sure that you do follow the lento instruction. Lento meaning slow. So this is slower, even though the notes look faster. This is slower than what you played previously. Okay? And the second movement, I appreciated very much that you started at a mezzo forte. Not many people will do that, right? Because it's a slow movement. People assume I start playing softly. No, it's a mezzo forte, all right? And so you did that really, really well. Would love to have heard some vibrato thrown in on some of the long notes, because that's a perfectly acceptable part, you know, the style of a slow movement. Here is where we try to play as softly as possible, all right, when you get to there. So this one was a little bit too closely related to that, so just try to relax there and then play more there. But again, overall, really good, really nice. Just the pitch thing is the main weakness. All right, so I always tell my students the best thing that trombone players do to learn to play in tune is practice scales. That's usually the least favorite thing anybody to play, but for trombones it is so important, you know.
I have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind. He just bought that trombone maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I've noticed his intonation has gotten worse since he got it.
Sure.
Is it just going to take him some time to get used to it?
Yeah.
More. Because I wondered the same thing, because normally I don't hear, you know, that many consistent intonation issues when he plays, but I've noticed that over the last few weeks, as soon as he started playing on that new horn.
Yeah, no.
It's definitely better than our school quality horn.
Yeah, I mean, different brands have different kind of frets, and if he doesn't, you know, get used to longer positions, you know, then, I mean, he'll get used to it. It's just a matter of retraining the arm to think a lot longer. So, all right, but nice job. Nice job.
Thank you.